Metropolis is a multi-layered city in which humans and robots coexist. Red Duke is the city's wealthiest citizen and has just completed construction of his greatest achievement, the ziggurat. A massive skyscraper which according to him will allow mankind to reach the stars. It becomes a symbol of humanity's never-ending expansion, but also our towering hubris. The celebration of the ziggurat's completion features a press conference with Metropolis's most powerful men, Red Duke, President Boone, the city mayor Lion, and the military commander General Skunk. Despite these opulent festivities, Metropolis is a city built on harsh disparities between the rich and the poor, as well as growing tensions between anti-robot factions and those in support of robot labor. The Mardukes, for example, are an anti-robot paramilitary organization led by Red Duke's adopted son, Rock. It's an open secret that Red Duke funds the Mardukes, and during the opening ceremony Rock shoots down a robot agitator who disrupts the event. Meanwhile, the private detective Shunsaku Ban and his nephew/assistant Kenichi have traveled from Japan to Metropolis in order to arrest the rogue scientist Dr. Lawton, who is wanted for organ trafficking. Nobody knows that Dr. Lawton is actually working for Red Duke on a secret project. Lawton tells Red Duke that his work is not finished yet, but Red Duke is growing impatient. After the scientist's departure, Rock shows up and calls Red Duke father, to which Red responds by saying that he's not his father. Turns out, Red Duke found Rock during the last war and took him in, but he's not too keen on fulfilling the paternal role that Rock clearly expects from him. The detective and Kenichi meet up with the Superintendent General of the Metropolis Police Department, who assigns them a robot who will assist them in their investigation. Shunsaku Ban nicknames him Pero, as robots are not allowed human names. Concluding that a criminal probably couldn't hide in Metropolis City, Pero proposes that they venture down into Zone 1, the underground, where it's more likely that his criminal activities could go unnoticed. Their conversation is interrupted by Marduk shooting a robot who had ventured out of his assigned area. Robots are not allowed to move around freely. At the same time as the trio makes their descent into Zone 1, Red Duke is also there meeting with Dr. Lawton. Turns out, Lawton has been creating some kind of synthetic human using only inorganic materials, he claims, because using human organs would be illegal. He explains that she will be ready by the end of the week. Red Duke calls her his little Tima, apparently modeling her on his daughter who died years ago. However, Lawton has secretly been planning on keeping the girl to himself and escaping with her as soon as she's completed. Just as he's about to finish his work on Tima, Rock appears and threatens to destroy the doctor's creation because he doesn't want her to steal his father's heart, as he puts it. He is clearly jealous of the relationship Red Duke will have with Tima. Rock ends up shooting Dr. Lawton after he tells him that Red Duke intends on putting Tima on the ziggurat's throne. In attempting to destroy Tima, Rock sets the lab on fire, which ends up awakening her. A Zone 1 worker named Atlas witnesses Rock fleeing the scene of the crime and is motivated to fight back against those on the surface. The detective, Kenichi, and Pero make their way to the scene of the explosion. The workers argue with Pero because they believe that robots are designed to replace them. While firefighter robots extinguish the fire, Shunsaku Ban and Kenichi attempt to retrieve Dr. Lawton from the blazing lab. In so doing, the two are separated and Kenichi encounters the newly born Tima. While Shunsaku is trying to save Lawton, Kenichi and Tima fall into the sewers. Rock reports the situation to Red Duke, announcing the death of Dr. Lawton, and he pretends to be unaware of Red Duke's dealings with the scientist. Red Duke does not respond well to this news as he believes Tima has been destroyed. Kenichi and Tima are found in Zone 3 by a garbage collecting robot called Fifi. Kenichi attempts to teach Tima how to speak, although at first all she can do is repeat the words spoken to her. Rock scours the crumbled lab in search of Tima. Noting that her metallic body should have survived the fire, he goes in search of her, convinced she must have escaped. Meanwhile, on the roof of the ziggurat, Duke Red tests a radiation-emitting weapon that serves to create sun spots that bathe the planet in electromagnetic radiation. This experiment has the side effect of making all robots on the surface of Metropolis malfunction for a period of time. This device could supposedly be used to control the world. The president worries that this will only enhance the tensions between rebels and pro-robot groups, but he also sees this as an opportunity to stir up public sentiment against Duke Red and eventually arrest him for treason, thus eliminating his competition. General Skunk assures the president that the military will be on his side. Rock finally tracks down Tima and Kenichi, but they are able to escape with Fifi's help. However, Rock finds them again as they are about to ascend to Zone 1. This time, Fifi sacrifices himself so they can get away. A chase ensues as they are followed by Rock and Mardukes. They are able to hide and are later found by Atlas and the other revolutionaries. Standing on a roof with a bird on her shoulder, the denizens of Zone 1 perceive Tima as an angel. Kenichi and Tima bond a little as he teaches her how to read and write, and she finally remembers her name. Meanwhile, Atlas meets with President Boone's right-hand man, who assures him that his political party will have the support of the military and that during the final event of the Ziggurat celebration, they will be able to rise up and crush the Marduk. At which point President Boone will make a formal statement announcing the arrest of Duke Red. As the uprising starts, Pero attempts to stop Atlas so as to avoid unnecessary bloodshed, but Atlas shoots Pero and the revolution begins. As Boone and his assistant celebrate the success of their plan, they are betrayed by General Skunk, who executes them both. Martial law is subsequently declared under the command of Duke Red and the revolution is squashed. On the surface, Kenichi is reunited with his uncle. However, Rock soon finds them and shoots the detective in the shoulder. Just as he's approaching Tima, Duke Red intervenes. Suddenly realizing what his adopted son has been doing behind his back, Duke Red disowns Rock and tells him he never wants to see him again. Tima and Kenichi are subsequently taken away. Duke Red brings Tima back to the Ziggurat, where she is treated like his daughter. She resides in a large bedroom where she writes Kenichi's name all over the walls. Down in Zone 1, Shunsaku spies on Rock, who hasn't given up on his goal of destroying Tima. He pays off Tima's servant to bring her to him. He then proceeds to taunt her, telling her she's actually a robot. But she doesn't believe him. After mocking her for a while, Rock kidnaps Tima. He brings her down to Zone 1, where he intends on dissecting her. Fortunately, Shunsaku arrives just in time and knocks Rock out. Using Dr. Lawton's notebook, he is able to revive Tima. Then, they plug Tima into the Ziggurat's mainframe in order to locate Kenichi. However, because of this, Duke Red is able to find them and retrieve Tima. Back at the Ziggurat, Duke Red shows Tima the throne room. He explains that one day she will rule the world from this throne. It is her destiny. He then has his guards bring out a seemingly tranquilized Kenichi. Shunsaku threatens to report Duke Red's activities to his embassy, but Duke Red remains unfazed because he believes that soon enough every nation will be under Tima's control. Tima then begs her creator to tell her whether she's a human or not and what exactly the nature of her powers is. He reassures her, telling her that she's nothing like the other pathetic robots, but that she's also superior to humans. He describes her as the pinnacle of existence. At this point, she becomes confused because she does in fact possess human emotions. Duke Red says that she simply thinks she does, and that once she reaches her full capacities she will no longer be held back by such things as love and emotion. Shunsaku interrupts by saying that she will be merged with the throne and will basically be a weapon that controls the world. Duke Red is surprised that the detective is aware of his plans. Shunsaku knows this from reading Dr. Lawton's notebook. Meanwhile, Rock has infiltrated the room in a disguise and proceeds to once again make an attempt on Tima's life. Although he doesn't manage to kill her, he does land a shot. Seeing her wound, Tima can no longer deny her artificial nature. Kenichi awakens just as she starts to lose her human emotions and is drawn to the throne. She sits down, causing the Ziggurat's generator to malfunction. Duke Red tries to stop Tima before she destroys the Ziggurat, but she tells him this is punishment for toying with robots. Red's scientist explains that her memory is merging with the data network, which is causing her to lose her mind. Tima announces that she will be activating all available weapons within 30 minutes and will target Earth's major cities for attack. According to her, destruction of the human race will be complete in 17 hours. That escalated quickly. As the throne room begins to collapse, Kenichi remains intent on saving Tima. He climbs up to her, and despite being electrocuted, he is able to pull her off the throne. She is still not back to normal though, and proceeds to attack Kenichi repeatedly. In the meantime, rebellious robots have started marching into the Ziggurat. Not wanting to see his father be killed by mere robots, Rock presses the self-destruct button, blowing up the Ziggurat's generator, killing himself and his adoptive father in the process. Tima starts throwing Kenichi around and, in so doing, actually helps him escape the doomed building. He tries to save Tima, who is dangling from a thread, but the cable breaks before he's able to pull her up. Her last words are, "I am who?" mirroring their first conversation. It seems she retrieved her humanity right before falling. Both Kenichi and his uncle miraculously survive the Ziggurat's total destruction. Later, Kenichi searches the rubble for Tima's body. There, he is met with a repaired Fifi who gives Kenichi what resembles a robotic heart, after which the robots begin to chant Tima's name. Kenichi decides to stay in Metropolis instead of returning to Japan with his uncle. A post-credit photo reveals that Kenichi eventually rebuilt Tima and opened a workshop. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more retro recaps.